Right now at 10, a brazen crime.
He was shooting towards this lady who was in the intersection trying to hide behind cars.
Hear from a local entertainer who witnessed the gunfire. Why the victorious Rainbow Warriors had an unexpected delay during their flight back home. Find out what happened to this sailboat that got stuck at Magic Island.
And coming up next in weather, they're back. The trade winds are here. The big question, how long are they going to stick around? My forecast coming up just ahead.
From across the islands on KGMB and KHNL, this is your source for breaking news. Hawaii News Now at 10.
First tonight, gunshots fired at a busy intersection in broad daylight. Authorities are now investigating the crime as first-degree attempted murder, and ukulele virtuoso Taimane Gardner saw it all while riding an Uber.
And I just heard this, and then when I looked over, I could not believe my eyes.
Gardner says some loud sounds caught her attention as her Uber was turning onto Sand Island Access Road near Nimitz Highway.
He was shooting towards a woman, probably in her 60s. She was wearing white. She had a white dog, and she was running across the intersection, and I've never seen anything like this in my life.
The artist, whose latest album has been nominated for 3 Nahoku Hanohano Awards this year, was stunned.
He was specifically shooting towards the woman and was just focused on that. I mean, I was worried, of course, but he was focused on the target.
Gardner says the gunman ran away and she called police to report the crime. Officers responded to the intersection just before 2 o'clock this afternoon. Sources say the woman was not hurt and that the suspect fled in a truck.
It makes me sad to know that gun violence is here in our islands.
And police say no arrests have been made in the case. A day after beating Nevada, the Rainbow Warriors had their flight home diverted. On Twitter, the UH football team said the plane had a mechanical issue. Flight 11 left San Francisco just after 9 this morning. According to Hawaiian Airlines, about an hour later, a cockpit light came on, indicating a possible problem with the cabin pressure system. The pilot decided to turn around as a precaution. An inspection revealed the pressurization fault was linked to a cargo seal malfunction. The same flight was canceled yesterday due to the same issue. Today, there were 263 passengers on board. No one was hurt, and the UH players returned to Honolulu this evening on a different flight. A 30-foot sailboat grounded on the seawall on the Waikiki side of Magic Island. Video shows the vessel smashed up against the rocks last night. Those on board the Ke'anikai were able to remove a gas container from the boat, according to officials. The DLNR says the vessel was moored in Alawai Harbor. The Ke'anikai eventually broke apart. The state is trying to reach the owner and is working on bids to have the boat removed tomorrow. The Coast Guard says there are no reports of pollution. HFD says a bicyclist from Asia participating in the state's oldest and largest cycling event was clipped by a vehicle making a turn today. This happened in Ahui Manu just after 10 this morning. The cyclist, who suffered minor injuries, was participating in the Honolulu Century Ride aimed at promoting safety for bicyclists.
Number one thing for drivers is be looking out for bicyclists. Yeah, so that means whenever you're going to make a turn, look in your mirrors, look ahead, be conscious that bicyclists are, of course, a lot less visible than a car.
Nearly 2,000 bicyclists rode anywhere from 5 to 100 miles. Those cycling the full route went from Kapi'olani Park out to Windward Oahu and back. Now to a Hawaii News Now special report. Predators could be getting a front row view into your child's world. We want to warn you that the story you're about to see may not be appropriate for young children, but for parents, law enforcement says it's a must-see. Here's our chief investigative reporter, Lynn Kawano.
Some call it digital prostitution. Kids can use these apps to make money or receive gifts instantly. And what they're being asked to do in exchange can lead to an even bigger problem. Authorities call it sextortion.
Thanks for the tequila shot. Live conversations with strangers all over the world. It's the new window. Apps are giving people, and in some cases predators, right into a child's room. This is the Live Me app. We created an account using a fake email address and in just seconds found the section labeled Girls.
Oh my God, Kristen! Thank you for the diamond ring, and babe, thank you for the kiss.
About 9,000 people are watching this girl, who appears to be 15 or 16 years old. And these are not just emojis being used to praise her. They have a value assigned to each, so fans are actually sending her digital gifts that can be exchanged for gift cards, or in some cases, cash.
If you send a Lamborghini Black, I'll give you my number, and if you send 2 cruise ships, guys, I'll give you my snap.
One watcher asks her to dance, then sends more gifts. The FBI warns while it may be happening live, it can all live on indefinitely online.
Or it's there forever. And then you can do these videos, live streaming and so forth, and people can record those, and you don't have any knowledge that you're being recorded.
The FBI says those recordings can lead to extortion, what they call sextortion.
An image of them flashing. From that point, it escalates. Once the adult has this image or these videos, this sexual material in their possession, they then threaten the child that if they don't produce more of this type of material, they're going to release that to, different social media platforms or classmates.
Nationwide, agents have found girls and boys, some as young as 7 years old, so afraid to report it, they send new images to the person daily, sometimes for years.
We've seen children, just to get out of producing more videos or images, they've actually attempted suicide. We've had some that have actually committed suicide.
Because all of it is digital, the feds can often track the source, both the child and the adult receiving the images, even if one is in another country. Distributing those images, if the child is underage, can result in a mandatory 15-year prison term. These are the 15 apps that parents should know about based on law enforcement and the FBI. We know about Snapchat. We showed you Live Me. Some of the others that people really need to be worried about, Vault apps. The calculator is one of the more popular ones. It can hide images, it can hide videos, it can hide files. Watch for the light being on in your child's room late at night, because with these apps, they're going to need light for the webcam. They're also talking to a phone, they're talking to a device. That's a red flag as well. And the FBI says bring the devices into your bedroom, into the parent's bedroom. That will often help so that they can't sneak away and take it from the kitchen while it's charging. But really, the most important thing law enforcement recommends, talking to your kids so you can stay connected and they know you care and you worry about them. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
The man accused of brutally stabbing his estranged girlfriend, then assaulting their daughter and her boyfriend, is scheduled to enter a plea tomorrow. Michael Gibbs is charged with attempted murder and assault for the September 19th attack in Mililani. He remains in custody on $1 million bail. Maui bookkeeper Thelma Pasqua Suyat is expected to be sentenced in federal court tomorrow. She stole from the plant nursery where she worked and used the money to pay for her mortgage and credit cards. Investigators said she siphoned about $1.3 million over 8 years from the Kihana nursery in Kihei. As part of a plea deal, the feds plan to ask for a maximum of 20 years in prison, a fine of up to $250,000, and up to 3 years of supervised release. A Kailua woman is openly defying the city's new law against illegal vacation rentals. She received an official notice threatening her with fines if she doesn't take down her online ad. Ben Gutierrez has the update.
For several years, Fabian Melchor has been an Airbnb host on this quiet street in Kailua. However, the city has been cracking down on unlicensed vacation rentals, and that's what Fabian has. That means that she was not surprised at all when she received this notice of violation on Saturday. The violation notice basically gives her until Friday to take the website down. But in the meantime, she says she hasn't really thought about whether she's going to do that.
I will decide at that point if I compromise, because I can't afford $1,000 a day penalty. That will go to $10,000 after, 2 weeks, I guess.
At last check, the city's Department of Planning and Permitting said it had issued 37 notices of violation, with 7 removing their ads or changing them to comply with the new law. If she says she can't keep her vacation rental, Melchor says she's leaving.
Okay, so I'll sell everything, pack my bags, and get out of the country because I have no reasons to stay there. I'm retired. This is how I live in the one place in the United States I want to be.
Since the new law took effect in the city, she says that she's gotten even more customers who've come to her house here because other Airbnb operators have shut down because of the new law. She says the threat of violation may be too much for her to afford, but she will decide on something, and she hopes that something will get her a day in court. In Kailua, Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Believe it or not, today, Lisa, it was a little bit cooler than the last couple of days. Temperatures shaved off by a couple of degrees. Thanks to the trade winds making a comeback, we did tie 2 records. Over in Lihue, 88 degrees, and then you can see 89 degrees in Hilo. And we didn't see as many 90s pop up across the state, but it was still very warm. We have this high pressure fan that's moving in to think that's going to dominate the forecast at least for the next 7 days in Hawaiinews. We will see warm temperatures, but at least that gives us a little bit of relief. And the winds anywhere from 10 to 25 miles per hour. A few windward and Mauka showers tonight. That will be the trend as we head into the next several days. And then warm temperatures repeated again tomorrow, but at least things are cooling down and looking a little better as we head into the next several days. Coming up in a little bit, I'll have the rest of your 7-day outlook.
All right, thank you, Jen. Still ahead, how 4 inmates escaped from an Ohio jail and the latest on the manhunt extending to other states. Also coming up, where this towering fountain of water created quite a commotion in an Oahu neighborhood. Major roadwork underway in Kapolei. All eastbound lanes are closed on the H1 for the Kapolei Interchange Complex project. Crews are working near the Campbell Industrial Park exit until 4:30 a.m. In town, road crews are repairing the Gulick Avenue overpass. 3 eastbound lanes are closed on the H1 until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. For real-time traffic updates, download our Hawaii News Now app. I'm Lacey Denise, student to Sunrise Monday morning, and I'll have your traffic updates.
See something you want to share with Hawaii News Now? Post it on social media using the hashtag HNN. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Watching Lisa Kubota on Hawaii News Now, your source for breaking news.
Nearly a year after Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed, Saudi's Crown Prince denies ordering his death in a new 60 Minutes interview that aired tonight.
Did you order the murder of Jamal Khashoggi?
بلا شك لا.
Absolutely not. This was a heinous crime. But I take full responsibility as a leader in Saudi Arabia, especially since it was committed by individuals working for the Saudi government.
Mohammed bin Salman said Khashoggi's death was a, quote, mistake by Saudi agents. Video showed Khashoggi entering a Saudi consulate in Turkey last year, but he never walked out. Saudi Arabia charged 11 people in connection with his death. An intense manhunt is on for 4 men who overpowered 2 guards and broke out of an Ohio jail. Authorities are searching at least 3 states. Dan Sheneman has the latest.
A manhunt is on. Authorities trying to zero in on 4 escaped inmates, searching in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia.
4 prisoners escaped assaulting a correctional officer. Will be in a charcoal gray Dodge Charger.
The inmates used a homemade weapon in the escape, stole a jail vehicle, and drove to a getaway car that was waiting for them.
Our detectives have established that the inmates had the assistance in escaping from at least 1 individual on the outside.
A getaway vehicle was found in Pennsylvania, 4 hours away. One escaped inmate, Christopher Clement, spotted at a shopping mall in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. The mall was cleared. The escape in the Ohio town of Gallipolis is the 3rd since August. The 22-bed jail is more than 50 years old.
Our jail was outdated and insufficient to meet the needs and the numbers of the criminals and the types of criminals that we are currently housing.
It's concerning. It's a jail, old jail. They've been beating around the bush for years, trying to, all they do is talk about it. Building a new one, and you don't see no action.
As the search for the escaped inmates goes on, a community's frustration grows. Dan Sheneman, NBC News.
Low-price fashion chain Forever 21 has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company says it plans to close up to 178 stores. It's not known which locations will be shuttered. Forever 21 has 4 locations on Oahu and 1 on Maui. At one point, there were more than 800 stores in 57 countries. Here at home, an 18-year-old hiker had to be rescued from the Cocoa Crater Stairs. HFD says the call came in at about 8 this morning. Firefighters had to hike to his side about 150 feet from the top of the trail, and a helicopter airlifted him to safety. He was transferred to EMS for treatment. Check this out. A huge geyser shot up in Nanakuli more than 100 feet into the air this weekend. This happened along Farrington Highway near the fast stop at about 9:20 last night. No injuries were reported. Coming up, what experts are saying about a winter snowstorm that's breaking records in the Northwest. And a little later, this isn't just any sunrise, where this was taken and why it's part of a historic moment, coming up in a few minutes.
You're watching Hawaii News Now, your source for breaking news.